Hello, everybody from all over the world. Hello. I have the honor to represent my country this year, which is Greece. All of you may have noticed that kind of sauce, which is named a Thousand Island sauce. Have you? No. Anyway, I'm going to invent the 3,000 island sauce. Why? Because my country has exactly 3,000 islands and maybe another 1,000 mountains, although it's very, very small. A very small country, but it bears a very heavy heritage. But first of all, I would like to present you two brilliant students, Miss Ioanna and Achilleas. Achilles was an ancient hero, and I'm an ancient goddess also. Or another one, maybe not the same, but another one. I won't speak long, but I maybe repeat some cliches, but I think that my duty is to remind them. As you can see, our flag is up there in the heights, the last one up there, in the highest position, but yeah. And scientists, teachers, students like you, please be patient for 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah. My country has the biggest astronomy-related heritage, cultural also. As we know, is in a certain science today. Astronomy became a science because of our ancient ancestors. Let me explain. The ancient, do you hear me? I think I... the ancient Greek mathematicians were the first to establish astronomy and its related subjects as a science. Anaxagoras said that the atom cannot be the ultimate small particle of matter, since it should consist of smaller and smaller particles, like sand grains, one within another. Later, this hypothesis was justified, the subatomic particles. The power that forms the cosmos is a Greek word and means ornament, something beautiful. And this power, which imposes the order on chaos, is mind, the human mind, God's mind, which is distinguished from matter by its simplicity, clarity, and self-existence. The sun was not a god, but an ardent, glowing mass. The god was one and only, as the Greek philosophers said. And we should mention that Greece was also the first European country which became Christian. The ancient scriptures make reference to all the basic constellations, and thus are a tradition, not a mythology. Mythology is an encoded history, which is lost in the labyrinth of the ancient allegoric cosmogonic history of that peninsula, I mean the Hellenic peninsula. The mind is a transmitter and a receiver of energy, thought, intention, and it has its own sovereign and free will. Hipparchus made the first list of stars, giving them names from that ancient made astronomy heritage. The delimitation and categorization of stars and constellations was what made astronomy a true science. in 135 BC, a supernova erupted, and the phenomenon was recorded. Until then, the world thought that the universe was stable and unchanged. Claudius Ptolemy wrote the Almagesta, a major book of astronomy, as the name implies. Charon, the centaur, is referred to as he who gave Jason a sphere to be used for his navigating orientation. It was drawn in the inner cell of torches. The Hellenes, who colonized Asia Minor, Sicily, and elsewhere, promoted astronomy as well as the mathematics and physics. Democritus talked about particles of matter and called them hadra and lepta, which mean thick and thin particles. And now we are talking about hadrons and leptons in nuclear physics. Anaxagoras also set the basis of modern astronomy and has been justified by modern observations. Aristarchus said that the Earth is orbiting the Sun and not the opposite. Posidonius from Rhodes and Archimedes were also brilliant astronomers and mathematicians. No wonder why NASA gives today to its missions names taken from the encoded historic tradition or mythology, as all of you already know. Later on, after those ancient times, the Roman emperors paid much more attention to their military progress than to science, and astronomy was rather neglected. Yet, in the bearer of Greek culture, which is called Romanity or Eastern Roman Empire or Byzantium, as the Western scholars call it, there were brilliant astronomers and scientists such as Nikephoros Grigoras, Isaac Archiros, Iakovos Metochites, and others. In Hellenic speech, the word logos, which means the word and also the speech, but also the sense, logic, implies the Son of God through whom everything in the universe was made. Everything is because it has a reason to be. Reason is logos. When the empire fell, the scientists escaped to the west, and in this way the Hellenic world gave the sciences to the Western world, transmitted them, and the sciences were developed to what we admire today. However, even now, many Greek scientists work around the world in various universities, institutions, and research centers, promoting science and contributing to what is to come in the future. Here in NASA, many people study the universe and admire the splendor of a sublime creation, which many of them are becoming better people and devote blessed personalities because of that. Last but not least, we thank you for the present program, which we hope will give us new experience and motivation to continue our efforts and take back to our country not only beautiful and interesting experiences and knowledge, but also the enthusiasm to transmit and impart what we will have seen and done in this program. And one last news. The first Greek orbiter was launched a couple of days ago. Thanks again very much. And I would like to sing a verse of a Greek song, which is indeed a prayer to Sun, not as a god, but to God, which is the Sun of Justice. And it says, Sun of Justice, do not forget my country. Της δικαιοσύνης ηλιενόητε και μυρσίνη εσύ δοξάσαι
αστική. Μη παρακαλώ σας μη παρακαλώ σας μη παρακαλώ σας λησμονάτε τη χώρα μου.
Thank you very much.
Hello. We are going to represent our country through our mythology.
So, we chose a myth which are associated with the constellation of Ursa Major.
In Greek mythology, Zeus, the king of the gods, lusts after a young woman named Callisto, a nymph of Artemis. Hera, Zeus' jealous wife, transforms the beautiful Callisto into a bear. Callisto, while in bear form, later encounters her son Arcas. Arcas almost shoots the bear, but to avert the tragedy, Zeus turns them into bears and puts them in the sky, forming Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Callisto is Ursa Major, and her son Arcas is Ursa Minor.
Greece is a small country, but with a great history. Thank you very much.